Hello, beautiful human. I'm reporting love from one of my favorite places, Wadi Rum here in Jordan. And today I wanted to bring up a question that I've kind of seen a lot of in my environment, in my community of friends and peers. And it seems a question that so many people are going through today, which is, how can I finally make the choice to quit my job and pursue what I love, pursue my passion? And behind that question, there is a deep fear of the unknown, a deep fear of how can I go from this security and certainty and routine to complete unknown of this ambiguous, amorphous passion that I feel is waiting for me somewhere in the future. And I feel part of the issue or the challenge lives in the question itself. So rather than ask ourselves, how do I quit my job? Because quitting your job is actually kind of easy. You go to your boss and you say, you know what, I'm done with this. But I feel it's more a question of timeline. So what is the timeline I can create for myself so that I can leave this old story in order to transition into the new one? And that is really a key word, transition. Because rather than quit your job and just live in the unknown and not be able to have any income or provide or freedom to travel, because you need money to travel and take courses. So in order of finding yourself in a complete void and quitting your job kind of like on an emotional whim, I would invite you rather to consider the timeline you want to create for yourself in order to transition into the passion. And one of the issues that most people have, or some of the issues that people have, include, I don't know what my passion is, I need to explore. So this is the time to explore. Start trying things, start exploring giving workshops, start trying creating jewelry or food or whatever it is your passion is, to start to feel like, oh, that's the thing that brings me so much joy. Because you don't want to be making the decision to leave the work from a place of really, I have no idea, because it might take you some time to figure it out. It might take you a month, it might take you 6 months, it might take you a year, it might take you 2 years. For me, it took me 2 years between when I really knew I didn't want to do the thing I was doing before into really finding the stuff I wanted to do, including coaching, and eventually making it viable enough that I could have an income. So the question is not how or when or all of this, but it's really a question of timeline, and charging that timeline with the slow letting go and also the gradual building of the new, so that it's not black or white. You're creating more in the gray zone. So you know that you've given yourself, let's say, 6 months to keep doing the work while you start this new business, or maybe you're making drawings for people or mandalas or something that really brings you joy. And to be honest, with today's online world, it is so easy to explode in anything you do and reach people who are passionate and who vibe with your tribe. So really, it's all about you emitting your frequency, creating your art, creating your expression, and then the right people who feel you will start to gather around that frequency and want to receive from your services. So you'll start to create offerings. But all of this takes time. And so rather than just be hating on your job and feeling miserable and feeling like, what do I do and how do I do it and all of this, start to consider the timeline. Now, in order to do this, you need 2 things. One, the clarity of why you're leaving what you're leaving. So one of the things that comes up with people is the values don't match my values. So maybe you're in a work environment that really just does not meet the authenticity you're trying to live into, or the integrity or the ethics that you're trying to embody more of in your life. And so you know why you're leaving the work. You're not just leaving because you feel like it. You're not just leaving because you can't stand your boss. You're leaving because there's a deep, essential mismatch between who you are, your truth, and that thing you're doing, that thing you're giving your time and energy and days and life to. And eventually that drains your energy, that sucks your life force, that sucks your soul. It's a soul drainer. So our mission becomes to be very clear about that thing I want to say more no and no and no to. And for me, it was very clear. It was a working spirit, environment, CV, build-up timeline where everything was based on mind and ideas. And don't get me wrong, I love my mind. I have a very clear and sharp mind. But what I don't love is operating from my mind to create my life solely. So the mind is a really good servant. You know that quote? It makes a good servant, but not a good king. The heart is the real king, the real queen that we want to be honoring and listening to. So my heart was saying, there's something else for you. And I was so in the void, like, what is that thing? I don't know what is my thing. I don't know my passion. And it was with time that I started to discover really surprising aspects of my passion. For example, after I quit my job many years ago, and I started to volunteer to work with children, and eventually I was offered a job, I realized, oh my God, I want to be in a field of love, of joy, of this feeling that you get when you're around children. And so how would I know from working in government and working in journalism and working in all these really like proper, rational environments that this was something, oh my God, the flies. This was something I'd be interested. Do you see the fly? It's like third eye in my fly. I wouldn't know. I had to go on my adventure and discover, and it took me time. And then I went on my yoga teacher training, and I also worked with a documentary filmmaker, and I also worked tutoring. So I did so many things as I figured out. And then one day I traveled to Bali for my training, and I felt this is my world, the world of embodiment, the world of wellness, the world of depth, the world of connection, the world of community. And slowly the pieces came together. And so the invitation is to give time for exploration and start to explore. And as you get clarity, start to put the pieces together. So I loved yoga. I knew it wasn't something I wanted to teach for all my life, but I felt so passionate about embodiment. So I went to the training. In the training I did turned out to have also shamanic breathwork as well as astrology. And so I started to go deep in the shamanic path. I started to go deep in the embodiment path. And as I went deep in that, things started to open up. I realized I really love the sacred songs, the music that they play in these spaces in the yoga class. And I was like, what is that? I love how I feel when I listen. I love how I feel when I sing. I love how I feel when I go to circle and we're all singing really healing songs. So that started to be a part of my, let's say, book of life. And so slowly the pieces came together. Eventually, it was with Ihab when I learned more about coaching, and I felt like whatever he's doing, having deep conversations, impacting people, supporting people, I felt like, wow, there's something there. And I kept saying, no, that's not me, that's him. I really rejected it the first year or two. And then eventually I was learning more and feeling more and just had to admit that's something I wanted to go in and explore. So I started to explore coaching, and from call to call to call, I was feeling more and more deeply the calling that was so deep in my soul to serve other women and to support other women in their journey. And so this didn't come like this. It didn't come from black to white, from quitting my job to coaching. It came from really letting go of the old because it did not match my values, and tuning in what it is I wanted to call into my life. That was truth, connection, freedom, beauty. And I didn't even know there was a dimension or a frequency or a world where I could be working in that, working with love, working with freedom, working with joy. And my happy answer to you from the other end of the tunnel is that exists. There is a place where you can be living your truth and serving whatever it is your soul came here to serve, with complete joy, waking up in the morning and feeling like you're excited, you're not drained, you have time for your body, you can take your space. And again, with the world of internet, it makes it so easy to pursue your passion and reach people. You just have to be clear and authentic and expressive and start to create content that engages. And this is one of my deep passions now, to help women really enter into that state of inspiration and creation. And that's why I created my course, Money Goddess, which I'm launching in January. And I want to invite you to register today just to receive the launch date, so that when I launch it, you'll be the first to hear. In this course, I'm going to be teaching more about money and what is money and how we can start to make it from a place of joy, and how we can live a happy and fulfilling life, and how we can tune from the money of energy that is survival, that is really root-based, chakra-based, and take it up towards creativity and heart and passion and joy and connection, so that I can make money while sleeping, doing what I love, and serving what it is I want to serve to the world from my heart, from my love, being or becoming the really prosperous and wealthy woman that I was born to be. So if this is something that interests you, leave me your email in the link below. And thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and share it with a friend who needs to watch this today, who's going through that same challenge of not knowing when to quit, but really not knowing that it's not about not knowing. It's just about planning the new timeline, knowing what I'm going away from and knowing what I'm going towards. I'll see you again next time.